Hello everyone. I know the weather has been a dampener, but I am so glad that you all are here amongst us to celebrate the graduation ceremony of the YIF class of 2023. A very good afternoon and a warm welcome to everyone. On behalf of the Young India Fellowship at Ashoka University, I welcome you all to the convocation ceremony for the class of 2023. Before the proceedings begin, I request everyone to kindly switch off their mobile phones, or you could also put them on silent mode. The academic procession will soon begin, and the processional music, which has been used for it, was composed collectively by several musicians of the YIF class of 2018. Titled Full Circle. It reflects the various stages in the journey that fellows undertake at the YIF. I would now request you all to please stand while the academic procession enters the hall. Would request you all to kindly take your seats. Thank you. I would like to invite the Dean of the Young India Fellowship Program, Ms. Aniha Brar, to continue the proceeding for the day.
Good afternoon. Ms. Mirai Chatterjee, distinguished guests, faculty, parents, and of course, those at the heart of these proceedings, fellows of the class of 2023. It gives me great pleasure to welcome you to Ashoka University and the 12th convocation ceremony of the Postgraduate Diploma in Liberal Studies, the Young India Fellowship. On behalf of the fellowship, I would like to thank Ms. Chatterjee for taking time out of her extremely busy schedule and traveling a distance to honor us with her presence on this occasion. It is also my privilege to introduce and welcome the other senior members on the dais. The Chancellor of Ashoka University, Professor Rudrangshu Mukherjee, the Vice Chancellor, Professor Shomak Roy Chaudhary, Chairman of the Board of Trustees and Founding Dean of the YIF, Dr. Pramad Sinha, Principal Academic Advisor to the Vice Chancellor and former Vice Chancellor, Professor Malubika Sarkar, Pro-Vice Chancellor, Mr. Venkateshwara, Dean of the Trivedi School for Biosciences, Professor Anurag Agrawal, and the Registrar, Mr. Sachin Sharma. A very warm welcome also to the faculty who have engaged with the fellows over the year and Ashoka faculty present in our midst today. Padma Shri Ms. Urvashi Butalia is running a bit late but will be joining us for the proceedings. Professor Dipankar Bhattacharya, thank you. Dr. Shogato Datta, Dr. Arvinder Singh, Dr. Nirajan Kafle, and Dr. Satyendra Singh. I now invite, yes, I think your faculty deserve that. I now invite the Chancellor, Professor Mukherjee, to address the gathering and formally begin this afternoon's proceedings.
Ms. Miraya Chatterjee, who also happens to be one of my very close friends, my colleagues, distinguished guests, and last but not the least, the Young India Fellows. I welcome all of you to the 12th convocation of the Young India Fellowship Program. But as on all previous occasions, similar to this, I'm at a loss regarding what I should say on an occasion like this. For the fellows and their parents and relatives who have come to Ashoka today, this is a day of celebration. All of you have just completed, the fellows have just completed successfully an academic program that was intellectually demanding. All of you have worked hard, at least I hope you have. And today is the day when you get to wear the laurels you so richly deserve. The last thing you want on a day like this is to hear an old and gray-haired chancellor mouthing platitudes. So I'll keep this very short, and I will try again against my instincts not to be pompous. I know it's a terrible day, but I'm absolutely certain that there is sunshine in your hearts and in your minds, even though that's not what's happening outside. I'm reminded, because of the contrast, of that famous statement by Banquo in Macbeth, "So foul and fair a day I have not seen." When you came to Ashoka, and I say this to the Young India Fellows, you took a risk. You came out of your comfort zone, be it a job, a subject that you were studying, the cozy surroundings of your family, and so on. You took the risk and embarked upon what can only be described as an intellectual adventure. You came to a university and an academic program that aimed to expose you to the world of knowledge and also how to grapple with that knowledge, the rules of evidence, critical reasoning, questioning, and doubting. The program also wanted to imbibe in you a sense of the fragility and the transient nature of knowledge. What we understand as knowledge today is open to be questioned and to be subverted by new knowledge in the future. This program, I hope, has given you a sense that knowledge cannot pursue truth with a capital T, since truth is always unstable and elusive if it exists at all. The world out there is not monochromatic, neither is it unidimensional. The rigor of the academic program you have undergone was aimed to convey to you the importance of different and even conflicting perspectives. Do not cease from exploration. This could very well be the only message the YIF has gifted to you. I urge you to make it part of your lives. I would also like to think that Ashoka University and the YIF program have inculcated in each one of you certain values. Values, almost by definition, are difficult to define. Values are embodied in the way we live our lives. As Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi once said towards the end of his life, "My life is my message." Apart from the academic program and courses that this university offers, Ashoka aspires to enable each of its students, Young India Fellows and undergraduates, to discover their own individuality. What does this individuality mean? It means that your tenure as a Young India Fellow has given you the strength to lead when no one leads, the strength to lead when no one follows, and the strength to follow when no one follows. I'm reminded, having said these lines, of that great song by Rabindranath Tagore, "Jodi tor ডাক শুনে কেউ না আসে তবে একলা চলো রে." If nobody harks to your call, walk alone. The strength in oneself to be alone when necessary, to be, if required, to be the still center when all around you is noise and tumult, the patience and the courage to be still and not to be still. It is a very tall and very profound aspiration. But without this aspiration, our lives, your lives, and the purpose of Ashoka University will be strangely vacuous. Propriety demands that are now descend from the lofty ideals to matters more mundane, without which no chancellor's address to a convocation is complete. The year 2023 is an important one for Ashoka and the YIF program. The university is poised to complete its first decade. The YIF has already passed that landmark. As you all know, the university has a new Vice-Chancellor, Dr. Shomok Rai Chaudhary, from January 1. His leadership to the university and the Young India Fellowship will open up, I'm certain, many new dimensions and perspectives. I also want to thank Professor Malavika Sarkar for her outstanding contribution to Ashoka during very difficult times. She knew when to be still when there was noise and tumult all around her. With these words, Mr. Vice-Chancellor, I declare the convocation open.
Thank you so much, Professor Mukherjee. I now invite Professor Shomok Rai Chaudhary to deliver the Vice-Chancellor's address.
Respected Chancellor, Professor Sudhanshu Mukherjee, Chairman of the Board of Trustees and former, in fact, founding Dean of the Fellowship, Dr. Pramatraj Sinha, my predecessor and Principal Academic Advisor, Professor Malavika Sarkar, members of the governing body, Ashoka's founders, deans, members of the faculty, administration, and staff, and of course our graduating fellows and parents and friends. This is a wonderful occasion. Of course, the convocation of the Young India Fellowship. And congratulations to the class of 2023. It's my pleasure to welcome you all to this convocation ceremony, this incredible, very unique program. It's very hard to find anything like this anywhere else. That is the Young India Fellowship of Ashoka University. I would also like to extend my gratitude and welcome to Ms. Mirai Chatterjee for her presence as chief guest on this important occasion. Now, we are now emerging from some of the most unusual and trying years in recent history, particularly for students and their families. Members of this graduating class were the first in several years to attend class on campus for their full duration. This is why today's occasion is very reassuring and at the same time exhilarating, allowing all of us, faculty, students, administrators, families, to come together, and we haven't done this for several years, to come together and reaffirm our connection with all the aspects of the university, the teaching and the learning, and of course the conviviality and camaraderie inherent in this whole experience. It also shows us how important it is to, in person, be together. Ashoka enters the 10th year of its existence. As Vice Chancellor, I'd like to say a few things about the university as a whole to our guests, the parents, and family, and also the students. This unique institution is already now, in a decade, firmly established itself as a bold and innovative institution that has pioneered the kind of interdisciplinary education that this so-called new education policy has now recommended for all the higher educational institutions in the country. Last year, the university became the first of a very small number of universities to implement the 4-year undergraduate program for the first time, and many others, hundreds of others are doing it this year. The template of the multidisciplinary liberal arts education with special emphasis on critical thinking, breadth of vision, and making novel connections between areas of knowledge started from the establishment of the Young India Fellowship, which, as you heard, predates the university. And this could be easily translated at that time into an undergraduate curriculum, which is now being incorporated in this new 4-year plan, which is consistent with what the government wants us to do. So in many ways, the YIF and the Ashoka undergraduate program are pioneers in what the country now thinks is the way to go in higher education. And moving forward, our challenge now is to build upon this and include scientific principles into this tapestry, and also putting very special emphasis on postgraduate pedagogy and research on our faculty and students. So the university grows in many areas. This research is also carried out in some of the most innovative centers of excellence in Ashoka. Just to give you an example, over the past year, we launched 4 new centers for research and in some cases associated teaching. The Ashoka Center for a People-Centric Energy Transition, the Isaac Center for Public Policy and Good Governance, a Center for Data Science and Analytics, and a Center for Digitalization, Artificial Intelligence, and their connection to society. Just look at the kind of wide canvas these centers cover in terms of our research activities. And in the work of these centers, as well as the core research and teaching, we involve students and faculty in very adventurous programs across conventional disciplines. The Young India Fellowship Program selects individuals who have graduated from various disciplines and indeed have worked, in many cases, in various environments, and then brings them into the framework of this kind of liberal arts discourse, where people learn from each other and from some of the best teachers in the country working in the subject. The very first Young India Fellow I met in my previous job as a director of Institute of Astronomy and Astrophysics in Pune was a bright spark in an institute of astronomers and space scientists, rocket scientists. Articulate, bright, shiny, witty, able to hold together intelligent conversations, He's also an engineer by training, and he was my introduction to the YIF. He also designed the ultraviolet camera that our team delivered to ISRO last month, which is about to fly next month on India's first mission to the sun, Aditya L1. In the very brief time I've been here as Vice Chancellor, I've had the privilege of meeting many Young India Fellows, and my expectation and an assessment of the standard of the Young India Fellows in this program has always been amazing. I've had the privilege of witnessing your unflagging dedication and the steady blossoming of a community that cherishes individuality, inclusivity, diversity, and the pursuit of truth. This always fills me with immense pride and hope. I hope this is to the graduating class. I hope Ashoka University has instilled in you a sense of purpose, a passion for lifelong learning, and a commitment to fostering positive change. As you step out, please remember that your education was not intended to be confined to lectures and assignments. It is a collective experiences, the late-night conversations, the moments of introspection that have shaped you into the remarkable individuals you are today. Please cherish the memories you've created here and hold on to the friendships that you have formed, because they will be your lifelong source of strength. In closing, I would like to express my deepest gratitude to each member of the Ashoka University community, our dedicated faculty, staff, administrators who've tirelessly supported and guided you on this transformative journey. I would in particular like to thank Professor Malavika Sharka, the previous Vice Chancellor, as was already mentioned, of guiding us through a very, very difficult part of the university's history, and also taking part in such a seminal way in the program of the Young India Fellowship. I also extend heartfelt thanks to the parents and families who have provided unwavering love and encouragement. Today, the world, which often feels uncertain and divided, needs your passion, your compassion, and your persistent commitment to truth and justice. We hope that your time at Ashoka has prepared you for this moment. The boundaries between traditional subjects and professions are falling. We will need your vast imagination to chart a path through the world that is no longer limited to one institution, one city, or even one country. This education has, we hope, helped prepare you to take advantage of a life of unexpected opportunities and very unconventional choices. May your future be filled with endless possibilities, and may you continue to make Ashoka University proud. Bon voyage.
Thank you, Professor Roy Chaudhary. It is now my privilege to deliver the Dean's Report for the year. 13 years ago, the Young India Fellowship began as the flagship program and precursor to Ashoka University. The YIF is a one-year postgraduate diploma in liberal studies and is open to graduates from any discipline who want to explore their full potential. We welcomed the first class of 57 fellows in 2011, and now we have a class size of 99 fellows graduating today. They come from 60 cities and towns across India and beyond and represent more than 73 undergraduate institutions. The academic year at the YIF is broken into 8 terms with an extensive breadth of courses and a focus on multidisciplinary learning. The YIF Critical Writing course, an experiential learning module through which fellows work on real-world projects, are also important parts of the curriculum, and both run for the length of the year. The courses are taught by Ashoka faculty and leading intellectuals from India and abroad. Apart from the critical writing, 25 courses were offered in this academic session, including 17 core courses and a range of special seminars for fellows to choose from. We also added 5 new courses in topics as diverse as climate change and the future of health, food, and agriculture, using behavioral economics to address global policy challenges, the universe and us, Khayal, North Indian classical music and the modern song, and language, politics, and society in India. For the first time this year, fellows had the opportunity to earn credits through cross-listed courses taught at centers at Ashoka. These included courses on entrepreneurship, business analysis and strategy, and living with purpose, tools for life from psychology, neuroscience, and cognitive well-being. 2 other initiatives were also launched this year. The crossover series gave fellows the opportunity to interact with stalwarts from various fields as they spent half a day in immersive interactions. The guests included renowned musician Shubha Mudgal, Shaheen Mistry, founder of Teach for India, former Foreign Secretary of India Sham Saran, media professional and founder of Lalan Top Saurabh Dwivedi, and Bihar's First Lady IPS officer Manjari Jaruhar, among others. Through the Alumni in Residence program, accomplished alumni from various fields engaged with fellows through masterclasses, office hours, and fireside chats. This year, we had 20 teams engaged with real-world projects through the experiential learning module. These projects have spanned various sectors, ranging from government offices to those in the corporate as well as development sectors, and from domains such as education, data and technology, gender and law, to healthcare, to name a few. You will get a glimpse of the good work done later in the proceedings. The program also enables fellows to build meaningful connections with mentors from diverse sectors. This year, we had 54 mentors coaching and advising fellows on their personal as well as professional development. The YIF is committed to helping fellows build careers after graduation. Over the past academic year, over 250 organizations participated in Ashoka's recruitment process, and fellows are now set to begin careers with various organizations such as Bain & Capital, Deloitte US, Deutsche Bank, Ernst & Young, Gartner, Genpact, Quality Council of India, the Tata Group, and many others. Many fellows are also continuing their educational journeys outside the country. Through the academic collaboration with Sciences Po Paris, Alia Fatima Sharif, Divyesh Rajendra Patil, Mukul Bhatt, and Tanmay Sarkar were chosen to represent the YIF at Sciences Po for the semester. Also a partner, the Salzburg Academy on Media and Global Change conducts an annual global seminar. Shreya Kaul will represent the fellowship at the seminar this year. Other fellows furthering their academic journey are Sonakshi Grover, who is headed to Oxford University for an MPhil in Development Studies. Akanksha Saraf is headed to Duke University for a Master's in Environmental Management, and Simran Bajaj for a Master's in Industrial Design at the Rhode Island School of Design. Dharani Dhavamani has been accepted into the English PhD program at Concordia University and for an MA in English and Media Studies at Rutgers University. Samya Verma has been accepted to the Master's program in International Affairs and Development Studies at the Graduate Institute of Geneva. And Siddhima Sirohi has been accepted to the Master of Public Policy program at the Hertie School in Berlin. Pragya Agarwal has received offers from universities in the UK to pursue a master's in psychology, and Manan Batra has received offers from the University of Chicago for a master's in public policy and from Bocconi University for a master's in economics and management of innovation and technology. Several fellows from this batch will also be joining the Masters of Liberal Studies program at Ashoka to pursue their research under various departments. Over the last year, fellows have had their work published in diverse forms, such as policy papers, academic articles, or even music. Ashna Anandani's paper was part of Delhi University's Journal of Applied Research in Humanities, Language, and Social Sciences. And Samya Verma's article was published on the Gender Security Project, a digital platform with a focus on gender, security, justice, and peace. Manan Batra attended the Shape South Asia event in Kathmandu this year, organized by the Global Shapers Community, an initiative of the World Economic Forum. He has contributed to the climate advocacy paper on shaping climate resiliency towards a great Himalayan future for all. Dharani Dhavamani was a member of the Literature Across Borders initiative of the Green Literature Festival, a collaboration between Bath Spa University and Ashoka. Her prose piece is in the process of being published. Pranjal Joshi made it to the semi-finals of the International Narrative category of the 49th Student Oscar Awards for his short film, Mela. Arvind Mohan was inducted into the International Society of Caricature Artists, a non-profit trade organization dedicated to elevating the art and artists of caricature. Shlok Mishra's single Out of Words has been released on all streaming platforms and has crossed 35,000 streams. Siddharth Agarwal's song Banja Beeman has been featured on 3 Spotify editorial playlists. Among the entrepreneurs, Tanmay Sarkar and Nawaf Faraz Ahmad's entrepreneurial venture aims to be India's first technology-enabled B2B marketplace that will make affordable, eco-friendly products accessible to businesses. Arvind Mohan and Yashwant Kumar Rayapati are building Hashmint, a creator subscription platform which enables creators and fans to build communities. Fellows consistently strive to do more and do better, and this year has been no different. As you may have heard them say, the fellowship never ends, and it would only be right to talk briefly about the alumni and their accomplishments. The YIF alumni community comprises over 12 civil servants. They also count multiple Fulbright, Chevening, Erasmus Mundus, and Schwarzman scholars in their ranks. Danita Abraham now becomes the 17th fellow to be awarded the Fulbright Nehru Masters Fellowship. There have also been several German Chancellor's Fellows, a Rhodes, a Yenching, a Humboldt, a Helmut Schmidt, a Knight Hennessy, a Commonwealth, and a Gates Cambridge Scholar over the years. To give you a sense of some other remarkable alumni achievements this year, 8 YIF alumni will be joining Harvard University this fall. They will be headed to graduate programs at the Harvard Graduate School of Education, Harvard Kennedy School, and Harvard Business School. Srishti Sardana from the founding class was appointed the student speaker at Columbia University's doctoral hooding ceremony. Ashwini Ashok Kumar, YIF 2015, will join NYU Psychology this fall as an assistant professor and director of the Identity and Language Lab. Arpita Kodeveri, YIF 2012, will be joining Vassar College as assistant professor in political science. And Abhilasha Kumar, YIF 2015, has started as assistant professor of psychology at Bowdoin College in Maine. Vishnupriya Rajgarya, YIF 2016, has been selected as one of the Forbes 30 Under 30 Asia in the arts. Varsha Varghese, YIF 2015, won the Scholastic Asian Book Award 2023 for her children's book manuscript, The Summer Avisha Turned Detective. Simranpreet Oberoi, YIF 2013, has been named one of the top 5 social innovators by the Schwab Foundation for Social Entrepreneurship at the World Economic Forum, Davos. Afaq Raza Khan, who I think the Vice Chancellor was referring to, YIF 2014, was awarded the grant for future investigators in NASA Earth and Space Science and Technology. Chambat Setan's Adventure Sports Foundation of Ladakh created a Guinness World Record for the highest frozen lake half marathon to promote environmental responsibility through sports. Many of our alumni are in leadership positions in renowned organizations across the world. Shreya Mathai, YIF 2013, was appointed associate partner at McKinsey & Company. These are just some elements of 1 year from a rather lengthy list, and we continue to be proud of the achievements of fellows, past and present. It is now time for me to invite Chancellor Mukherjee for the awarding of diplomas to the graduating class of 2023, and Karan Bhola, Director, Young India Fellowship, to announce the names of all graduates present and in absentia.
Thank you, Dean Brar. My dear fellows, please come up to collect your diplomas as I call out your names. Adya Vatsa. Akanksha Saraf. Ashna Anandani. Ayushma Adhikari. Ayushman Harish Narayan. Advitya Sinha. Akanksha Bahadur. Akanksha Kujur. Akash Deep. Akhil Tekkepat. Akshat Pratap Singh. Akshay Moreshwar Sherke. Alia Fatima Sherif. Anil Kumar Baharia. Anima Mandvaria. Ansina. Anushka Gaur. Arav Shah. Arijit Singh. Arushi Behel. Arvind Mohan. Atreo Mitra in absentia. Avni Nagpal. Bhavika Sanjay Daga. Chandni Kachalia. Debangona Rai. Devyanshi Gerola. Dharani Dhavamani. Divyesh Rajendra Patil. Gultosh Mishra. Hiba V. Hifza Haq. Hisana Hussain. Isha Soundararajan Mahajan. Ishi Shandilya. Juhi Bhavesh Dhruv. Kabir Murgkar. Khushi Baldota. Mehdi Khwaja. Kuhu Tiwari. Kunal Sulekh. Mahima Pahuja. Manali Mishra. Manan Batra. Mani Deepa. Manisha Sarkar. Meera Trivedi. Muhammad Aisha. Mohit Kumar. Mukul Bhatt. Muntaha Kamran. Nadia Mukhtar. Naman Sachdeva. Namita Susan Moses. Nawaf Faraz Ahmed. Nishita Singh. Pooja Parmeshwar Nagur. Prableen Kaur. Apologies. Prableen Singh. Pradyumna Lat. Pragya Agrawal. Pranjal Joshi. Prerna Saharan. Rahul Sahai. Rajshri. Ronak Saraswat. Ravi Ranjan Kumar. Rishabh Jain. Ritoban Das. Ritu Kartari Antil. Sagnik Bhattacharya. Sai Sandeep Ponaganti. Sakshi Batavia. Sakshi Mundada. Sakshi Tiwari. Saloni Chaudhary. Samya Sareen Verma. Saroj Muthukumaran G. Soumya Sharma. Shahana Abbas Khan. Shalini Devi. Shlok Mishra. Shreya Kaul. Siddharth Agarwal. Siddhima Sirohi. Simran Bajaj. Sona Solji. Sonakshi Grover. Sripali Deb. Srishti Agarwal. Stuti Yeliyur Ravi Kumar. Sayyid Imad Hussain. Tamanna Bhatia. Tanmay Sarkar. Tejaswini S. Varun Gandhi. Vedant Krishna. Yastika Sikaria. Yaswant Kumar Rayapati. And finally, Yeshomini Raghuvanshi. I request fellows of the class of 2023 to please rise. I invite Chancellor Mukherjee to formally confer upon the Young India Fellows the postgraduate diploma in liberal studies.
By virtue of the authority vested in me as Chancellor of Ashoka University, I admit you all to the Postgraduate Diploma in Liberal Studies Young India Fellowship Program. And I charge you that ever in your thought and action, you prove yourself worthy of the honor conferred upon you. May I request you to please keep standing as I administer the Ashoka University oath. I'll take this slowly. Please repeat after me as I pause. The ancient Indian king, after whom this university is named, asked the question, what is Dhamma? He answered, it is having a few faults and many good deeds, mercy, charity, truthfulness, and integrity. I commit myself to these values. I commit myself to these values. Please repeat that clearly. And through them, move from the unreal to the real, from darkness to light, and from death to immortality. You can now be seated. An occupational hazard of a chancellor is often to do the superfluous. And I'm going to do that now by introducing to an Ashoka audience Dr. Pramath Raj Sinha. You know about the Ashoka pillar. Pramath Raj Sinha is the pillar of Ashoka University. He was the founding dean of the program that you have just completed. He was the founding dean of the Indian School of Business in Hyderabad. If I were to list his achievements, it would take me from Ashoka University right up to Hyderabad. So I'm not going to even attempt that, but I will request Pramath, my dear friend, to traverse the short distance from his chair to the lectern.
Thank you, Rudrangshu. I think Rudrangshu forgot his lines. He was not supposed to introduce me. I'm supposed to introduce Mirai Chatterjee, our chief guest. You think you've graduated, right? Not yet, not so fast. I'm going to depart from the script, and Aniha and Karan are going to have churning stomachs, but that's okay. We'll take 2 minutes. I want all the faculty who have taught at the YIF to please stand. And there are some here as well. No, hold on. Can you please turn around and face the fellows? And I want the fellows to give them a big hand. Chamak, you also. No? Not this year. Thank you so much for what you do year after year. Please take your seats. Some of you have been teaching at the fellowship for the last 12 years. Now I want all of you fellows to please stand. Please turn around. And please give a big hand in congratulations and thanks to your parents. Thank you. You may take your seats. I'd love to be the first person to congratulate you. Congratulations, you're Young India Fellows. You made it. And congratulations to all the parents, the faculty, and the Young India Fellow program team to have delivered this bunch of 12th class of 2023. How do I go about introducing Mirai Chatterjee? I don't want to take up too much time, and her official bio is in this booklet. If you don't have the booklet, it should be around you. You can read it there, so I'm not going to repeat that. I do want to acknowledge that both she and Rudrangshu would rather have been in Bangalore today. Recently, they lost a close friend, and there's a ceremony for her in Bangalore today, and they've consented to be here rather than at the ceremony, so I'm really grateful. I know what a big loss they have suffered, and our condolences to them. So thank you for making the effort to be here. I think what Rudrangshu said about what he expects of you is what Mirai actually has lived in her life. In today's day and age, it is rare to find somebody who works in one organization their entire life. And that's what she has done. But more than that, her dedication to a very simple cause of women working in the informal sector for her entire life should be a shining example for all of you and a tremendous role model. I got to know her very late in life, but every interaction, every brief period of time that I've spent with her has been truly inspiring. Together we served on the board of Pradhan, which some of you may know, and I was just fondly remembering today, somehow she and I have a connection to Ranchi, because this morning I started my day in Ranchi, and the last time I was in Ranchi many years ago was with her. I don't know what the connection is, but we were both in Gumla in Jharkhand, and we were going and looking at women self-help groups. And what was fascinating for me was that not only was I getting educated by watching what was happening on the ground, but also Mirai's engagement with what was happening, and it was a real masterclass for me. So I've always been grateful for the association and the inspiration she provides, I'm sure to many, many people, but I'm very grateful for that. She almost has a connection with Ashoka that she can't shake off. I just realized it is 7 years ago that you were here delivering a TEDx talk. And I still remember that clear as day, because some of the statistics that she shared about the informal sector and the role of women in that sector and how little they have has remained etched in my mind forever. And I won't get into that because you might talk about that in your talk today. But it was a revelation to me that there are so many, many women working in the informal sector, and how much they contribute and how little they get back in return. She, as you know, works at Seva, which we've all heard of. And again, the technical aspects of what she does is in the book. But one of the things that I did see her say somewhere is that she keeps on keeping on with integrity, commitment, and sincerity to the cause. Her journey is an exemplary commitment to working shoulder to shoulder with the marginalized, in line with Gandhiji's idea of Dusri Azadi, for freedom from hunger and poverty. And I remember all this from that talk that day. Earlier this year, Aniha mentioned the crossover series. When we started the crossover series, this is the first time that we have done that at the Young India Fellowship, and when the question came up who all we should invite, I wrote Mirai an invitation, and I think Karan followed up. But I think ghar ki muli wali baat ho jati hai, so I don't think she paid too much attention to my invitation. So when the question came up, will she come for the graduation, I upgraded and went to the Chancellor and asked Rudrangshu to invite her, and that worked. I hope that doesn't mean that we now can't call you back for crossover series, now that you've been invited as the chief guest to a convocation. On a lighter note, Mirai and her family are a mini Young India Fellowship. She did a history and science undergraduate degree at Harvard, and then went on to do a postgraduate degree in health sciences at Johns Hopkins. Her husband is a social entrepreneur. She has 3 daughters. The older one is an art history major. And if I remember correctly, the twins, one is a history major, and the other is a language and literature major. who lives in France and is teaching English to French-speaking students. So it's truly an eclectic mix, like the Young India Fellowship is, and I thought that that was a remarkable parallel to what we try and do here. But I don't want to take up too much time. I'm really honored and very grateful that we have you with us today. There couldn't be a better chief guest and keynote speaker at this convocation. Please welcome Mirai Chatterjee.
Thank you very much for your kind words, Pramadji, which I surely don't deserve. And thank you for the honor of inviting me to be here with you to celebrate your graduation from the Young India Fellowship Program. Special thanks to Rudrangshuji, who gently encouraged me to be here with you today. And Karan, I promise I'll be back. I would also like to thank the entire Ashoka team, and I met many of you today for the first time. It's been a pleasure. And most of all, of course, my heartiest congratulations to each and every one of you. My very best wishes for your future careers or whatever path you may choose. You have successfully reached another milestone with this program, and I'm sure you will forge ahead with what you have learned and with all your talents, which we have been just listening to. I also want to congratulate the parents and the family members. I'm also a parent. I am sure you have been a very important part of this journey. I also would like to congratulate the Ashoka University for this very special program. To my knowledge, there are very few such opportunities for young people to explore such a wide range of subjects and expose students to the humanities as you do. In these challenging times, such an education and interdisciplinary approach is not only unique, but urgently needed. As Pramadji mentioned, I would like to take a few moments to remember my close childhood friend, Shobita, who's also a very close friend of Dr. Rudrangshuji. And I know that as a writer and historian and teacher, she loved to be with you here with the students. She loved the students, and I'm sure you all loved her. And I think she would be happy that I'm here today with you. My first thought on hearing about the Young India Fellowship Program, and I asked Rudrangshuji, was whether it had any connection at all with the Young India publication brought out by Gandhiji and edited by him between 1919 and 1931, although it was founded by another freedom fighter, Lala Lajpat Rai. I learned that your fellowship was not named for this journal, but I think it's fortuitous. It is fortuitous because I believe many of the values that perhaps led the Ashoka University to develop this program, and also your own values that perhaps led you to join it, coincide with those espoused in the Young India Journal. Gandhiji asserted the importance of value-based education, holistic education, something the fellowship also recognizes and stands by, as I've been hearing in the past hour. The Young India Journal, of course, was created at a different time and a different purpose. Gandhiji used it to disseminate his ideas on Swaraj, nonviolence, the freedom movement, and larger social issues like caste discrimination and communal harmony. These ideas, I believe, are relevant more than ever in our world today, and more so as we celebrate 75 years of our independence. I start with these words because I've been fortunate to be part of a movement based on these values, a movement, as you have heard, of women workers in the informal economy, the Seva movement. I first heard of the Self-Employed Women's Association, SEVA, when I was an undergraduate at Harvard University in the late 1970s. Like many of you, as you've heard, I studied both history and science courses. I benefited not just from a liberal arts education, as you have, though I mainly took science courses. It was the heady period of anti-apartheid solidarity work on campus. And as students, we fought hard for the college to divest its investments in the racist regime in South Africa. I also benefited greatly from the vibrant discussions on gender equality, racism, and inequality at college. When I served in soup kitchens in working class neighborhoods outside the college's ivy-covered walls, I saw the underbelly of the richest country in the world, just a stone's throw away. I understood then that inequality, injustice, and intersectionality and discrimination exist in every society and have to be fought through education and awareness. This became the driver for the rest of my education and also for my life. The impetus to join the SEVA movement, therefore, came from listening and learning, frequently outside the classroom. One of the best pieces of advice I got from a friend when I was applying for a job, and I got a job at the Ford Foundation. I was very raw, but I suppose with my degree. She told me that positions at such foundations and the UN organizations will always be there. But the opportunity to work with informal women workers at the grassroots was the opportunity of a lifetime and would be a valuable experience and an asset for life. And so it has been, a most enriching journey. I hope that each of you will have the opportunity to be surrounded by a community of loved ones, friends, and mentors who encourage you to follow your heart and enable you to use your many talents to further your growth and career. I also hope that you will receive the same support or more from your loved ones that led me to choose SEVA. Building supportive networks of like-minded individuals who share your values and worldview can be the wind beneath your wings in nudging you to take that leap of faith and to take risks in choosing non-conventional career paths. For me, SEVA was my second education. Ila Bhatt, our late founder, put me in charge of two SEVA stalwarts, Suman Ben and Chanda Ben, a datan vendor and an old clothes vendor. Neither had been to school. But along with Ila Ben, I consider these wise women to be my mentors. They taught me about the many injustices and exploitation they faced, harassment by the police and municipal authorities, evictions from the marketplace as they pursued their livelihoods, and about resilience and the many brilliant survival strategies they harnessed at home, with their families, and in the marketplace. They also taught me Gujarati and Garba and about the lives of informal workers, fraught with insecurity, but also with sisterhood and solidarity through their own union. Today, with 25 lakh members, SEVA has grown to be the largest organization and movement of informal workers anywhere. Our work has spread to 18 states, from Kashmir to Kerala and Gujarat to Nagaland. We can hardly keep up with the demands and dreams of informal workers across India. Equipped with my public health degree, I was ready to put my classroom education to work in the service of SEVA members. I was quickly brought down to earth when I went to Shankar Bhavan, a sprawling informal settlement on the banks of the Sabarmati River. If you have come to lecture us about family planning like other educated women always do, then you might as well leave, they admonished me. And if you want to work with us, you better learn Gujarati. Suman Ben explained further, we have to have 4 to 5 children so that 2 or 3 survive. I had not learned any of these ground realities in public health school. These women became my teachers for life. Ilaben often joked that I got my PhD from Shankar Bhuvan University. I'm sharing these experiences with you because I would like to emphasize the importance of this education, which no formal institution could have provided me with. Listening and learning, as opposed to assuming one's education has all the answers. This is something we all need to work on and develop both as an approach and a skill. I can't stress this enough. I learned more about public health and later leadership from these women than I could have in any master's class. It is also with these women that I forged lasting and deep, meaningful friendships. In addition to learning from those whose lived experiences are vastly different from one's own, I hope some of you go on to build friendships with people across class, caste, and religious backgrounds. It will enrich your life, as it has done for me. An important aspect of Seva's approach to women's economic empowerment and self-reliance is that leadership must be fostered from the grassroots. It is they who should be the leaders of their own movement for a better and just future. Ilaben often reminded us, a leader is one who encourages others to be leaders. This is not easy for those of us who are educated and used to being seen and heard. Fortunately, we have experienced over decades how women, if given a chance and with encouragement and support, become strong and fearless leaders, challenging gender roles, patriarchy, caste, and religious discrimination. These fearless women leaders break all sorts of barriers. It is both inspiring and exciting to witness. Let me introduce you to 3 of these women who have changed my life. I've already mentioned Chanda Ben, who was an old clothes vendor and my mentor. She used to go to the money lender and borrow 100 rupees in the morning, and at the end of the day, she had to return those 100 rupees with 10% interest per day. She said she could not come out of poverty because she was bound hand and foot to the money lender. She went to the banks, this is in the 1970s, then nationalized, and asked the bankers to open women's accounts so that they could save and apply for loans. They were turned away, shooed away by saying, "You are not bankable." It was then that Chanda Ben said, "We are poor, but we are many. Let us have our own bank." She took the lead in convincing 4,000 women to contribute 10 rupees as shares, and with 40,000 rupees, they decided to form their own cooperative bank 50 years ago, long before the microfinance movement was invented or celebrated. The officer at the Reserve Bank of India was horrified at the thought of a bank with non-literate women as directors, and told them, first learn how to sign your names. The women stayed up all night with Ilaben's help, and the next day they signed their names. This impressed the officer so much that he gave them their banking license. Chanda Ben was always proud that hers was the first bank account, number 1. And she also served as a director on the board, and even today, 80% of the women are still informal workers on the board of directors, though now educated and tech-savvy. Through the women like Chanda Ben, Seva Bank has become a torchbearer of the microfinance movement globally. She even addressed a conference with 5 finance ministers, including the then Finance Minister of India, Dr. Manmohan Singh, explaining what was needed to spread microfinance for women. Today, Seva Bank has 20 branches and a working capital of more than 600 crores, all from the hard-earned savings of women, no grants. We have found that this combination of those of us with education and others with grassroots experience and wisdom is a potent combination for breaking barriers and indeed for social change. Then there was Karima Ben and Rahima Ben, who took the lead in a strike when workers like her were being exploited by men, many of them from their own families. Her brother was one of the contractors who was paying women a pittance for sewing together 70 pieces of cloth to make a patchwork quilt. When the women demanded fair wages, the contractors stopped giving them work, knowing they would have to return and beg for work, otherwise they would starve. When the strike failed, it was Karima Ben and Rahima Ben and others like her who said, let's form our own unit. Why not form our own cooperative? Help us with working capital and marketing, and we'll do the rest. The women distributed the profits equally. This became Sabina, the second membership-based democratic organization after Seva Bank. Karima Ben went on to serve as vice president of Seva for many years, and thanks to her, our strategy of organizing through struggle and development through unions and cooperatives is something that we continue today. In some ways, the long and exciting journey to leadership and empowerment is personified by my Seva sister, Chanchi Ben. She has a small piece of land, is a Dalit and disabled. When I met her in her village, she told me she had no desire to live, as she felt useless. In a meeting of the women in her village, she was unanimously chosen as the first health worker of her village. The men in the village were outraged and opposed this, as did the Sarpanch, who was from the upper caste community. But the Seva's sisters stood their ground with our support. Chanchi Ben had only studied up to the 4th class, but she was hardworking and committed, and very soon she became one of our most capable health workers, providing low-cost medicines and first aids to anyone and everyone. Once, when a young mother gave too much opium to her child during the busy harvest season, the child went into respiratory distress. Chanchi Ben mobilized funds. She did local crowdfunding to take the little one to the hospital, and the child was saved. Thereafter, she was asked to be the Sarpanch of her village. She was invited as the keynote speaker at the Young President's Organization of Corporate CEOs. She flew with me to Mumbai, the first in her village and community to do so. As she spoke of her journey to empowerment and self-reliance, not an eye was dry. The CEOs stood up and gave her a standing ovation. And she returned home to a triumphant welcome by her whole village. I was privileged to be witness to this, a very memorable and inspiring moment of my life. There are thousands of such stories of raw courage and fortitude among women who have had so little opportunity, but show us the way forward in so many ways. How to build an inclusive India, one which includes all faiths, castes, and ethnicities, and how to live lightly on this earth. This education for inclusive and democratic leadership comes when women unite, create membership organizations like unions and health cooperatives, and these are laboratories, we find, for building democracy from below with women's leadership. Like many across the globe, we have seen that when women lead, the whole community prospers. No one is left behind. I could never imagine that I would be joining hands with informal women workers to start up a health cooperative. Indeed, I had no training to develop such an organization. But with their sage advice and faith in our collective efforts, we did indeed manage to form India's first cooperative of frontline health workers. It took us 2 years to convince the Registrar of Cooperatives that such a cooperative could be financially viable. Finally, I think we wore him down, and our cooperative was registered. I had no background in business, nor an MBA, but for the last 30 years, we've made substantial profits, enough to run our own primary healthcare services and to provide employment to 200 women. And I'm proud to say that we have been consistently getting an A grade in the government cooperative department's audits. I was even more surprised to find myself leading our insurance cooperative, Vimo Seva, again the first woman-run and woman-owned such organization anywhere. I'm not an actuary, nor a trained insurance professional, but with my Seva sisters, I was ready to take this leap of faith 3 decades ago. Today, Asha Ben, a garment worker and an ACE insurance promoter, is the president of Vimo Seva. We have shareholders from 5 states across the country, and the cooperative is profitable and also provided many lessons to the government's own insurance program. I'm sharing these thoughts and experiences with you as it is easy for us to forget that local people, especially women and other vulnerable groups, intimately understand their own community's needs and problems. Many of them, often invariably women, show incredible initiative and perseverance and take on the mantle for mobilizing for change. As an educated professional, I believe our role is to facilitate, provide tools, our insights and linkages, as well as support. This, however, requires setting aside one's expertise while not disregarding it and engaging with people to understand their perspectives. As in the examples above, we have found that the best strategies are devised by people themselves. With some support and encouragement, they come up with the most creative and workable solutions, if only we put our faith in them and have some patience. I would urge you to be active and enthusiastic observers who have as much to absorb and learn from others as you have to contribute. In fact, this will only enrich your contribution and strengthen your expertise. Is my expertise serving a need? Am I asking questions or only prescribing solutions? This is a continuous dialogue that needs to be cultivated within oneself and with others. Education, while so important as it is for all of us here, is not the only factor in building leadership and effecting social change. We should not confuse education with sensitivity and awareness. Being educated does not necessarily mean that we are sensitive to and aware of other people's realities. As I have described, with no or limited education, women in our country are not only aware, but are leading their communities and pushing for social change on so many levels, peeling away layers of injustice and discrimination. They cannot do so alone. We need to join hands with them and work shoulder to shoulder. Together, we can be a force. Another learning is that organizing is the basic building block for any initiative or movement for change. For us at Seva, it has meant the bringing together of women from diverse occupations and communities, uniting them and building their solidarity and sisterhood. I've been fortunate to be a part of this process. One of the important aspects of organizing is how it weaves together the social fabric of our country, which unfortunately today is under serious stress. Joining hands as workers, as economic actors, in addition to being mothers, reminds us of our common struggle against poverty and for self-reliance, and for a better future for all our children. As we work and share our hopes and dreams, we rediscover our common humanity. A powerful aspect of sharing is learning about each other's faiths and praying together as we do in the tradition of Gandhiji. I have seen how this unites hearts, minds, and souls and keeps us together in the most trying of times, like the recent cyclone in Gujarat and earlier during communal violence. One of the aspects of working at Seva which resulted in my being drawn into this work for life is that it is very challenging. It forces people like us to use our education to work on some of the most vexing issues of poverty, gender, caste and religious discrimination, and more. For a public health worker like myself, figuring out how to reach primary health care to the working poor, adapting what I had learned, was really not only challenging, but intellectually stimulating. I also learned that the very act of setting up one's own membership-based organization, like a union or cooperative, and then leading it, is empowering. Learning by doing, when matched by classroom knowledge, is a potent combination for change for building women's leadership and for creating sustainable local organizations of the poor. Importantly, these organizations must be led by women, local women. The process of struggling to build up their businesses and make them financially sustainable is what is transformational. Economic empowerment not only leads to self-reliance, in my experience, but also challenges gender stereotypes and patriarchy. An important step towards a more gender-equal society. Of course, it's all a work in progress, and one has to work on many fronts, not just the economic. My generation, and I'm looking at Urvashi today as well, my generation has made a modest beginning. I have full faith that you will take the journey to gender equality onward and forward. In addition, what I've witnessed over the years is that women-led grassroots leadership brings about change that is inclusive not only with regard to humans, but also others with whom we share the planet. Women, particularly informal women workers like farmers and forest produce collectors, are greening our planet through their tireless efforts. In the tribal Tapi district of South Gujarat, Adivasi women joined Seva and then formed their cooperative of 1,000 women farmers called Megha. With climate change and deforestation, the monsoons have become more unpredictable. The hillsides, which were once lush with forests, are now bare due to illegal logging. The women decided to take matters in hand and met the district forest officer. They agreed to green their hills again if the officer provided support and helped them link their efforts to the Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Scheme so that they would also earn from their efforts. Of course, it was only possible for them to negotiate all of this because they had already organized themselves into a cooperative. Through the cooperative, they had learned to use their collective strength and bargaining power to negotiate and assert themselves in front of officials. Megha Cooperative has made a start. This was, of course, not an overnight change. I would also urge you today to think of your future in terms of our collective future, the future of our planet, and one that works for all. How to build environmentally sustainable economies and societies is the central question that your generation will have to address. It is daunting, but the Adivasi Women's Cooperative in Tapi districts shows us that it is possible if one is up for the challenge. Again, the combination of their traditional knowledge, wisdom, and skills and our knowledge and education can take us towards workable solutions. Based on such experiences, Ilaben spoke to us, her Seva sisters, on the importance of anubandh, or interconnectedness. It is not a new idea. It is found in all our ancient texts. It's the idea that we all live together in harmony with each other and with other sentient beings, that we remain close to and mindful of nature and the earth. She further came up with her 100 miles idea, that we produce and consume goods and services within a 100-mile radius, which would give employment to local people, develop local economies, and be mindful of the planet. It might seem utopian to you, given the world we live in. The key point, however, is the importance of being intimately invested in one's local context. That is where we need to make a start. This doesn't mean insularity, but rather to be aware of one's actions within our own immediate environment and the distance and closing the distance between producers and consumers. We have lost the ability to live lightly on this earth, which many traditional communities like my Megha sisters in Tapi still have. Can we recover this ability? We can begin by sparing a thought for those who toil to put the food on our table, valuing their contribution to our well-being. All of us here have had the gift of higher education at a premier organization. I hope you will choose to use it wisely and in the service of others, not necessarily as a social worker, but in whatever you do and wherever you are. Can we resolve to take into consideration the poorest and weakest so that our choices are fair, promote inclusion and equality? I do think it is possible to do so wherever we are and in whatever we do. I've been inspired by so many in business, in academia, in politics, science, and more, who are mindful of their fellow citizens in whatever they do, be it in big or small ways. I have learned that when one does the right thing for justice and equality, no action is too small or insignificant. Education, as we all have experienced firsthand, is a powerful tool for change and towards a just world. We have to learn and also challenge, work hard for consensus, but also register our dissent, and with humility learn from our fellow citizens. I think it's fitting to conclude with an excerpt from Gandhiji's speech to the Gujarat Vidyapeeth, where he addressed students, maybe not very different from you perhaps, way back in 1924. He said, "Knowledge is not to be had as a gift from someone. No person can give knowledge as we give alms. The professor's duty lies in recognizing the hidden worth within you and bringing it out. It is for you to display it to full advantage and cultivate it further. The word education also means bringing out what lies hidden. You should not therefore worry about what you will learn." He concluded his speech by advising, "You should first cultivate a good heart." You have been blessed with a very special and well-rounded education. I'm sure you will continue to bring out the hidden worth within you and use your talents to the best of your ability, whatever you do and wherever life takes you. Take time to enjoy life's journey too. Don't forget to smell the roses. I wish you well on your onward journey to cultivate a good heart and a questioning and exploring mind. All the very best.
Thank you so very much, Ms. Chatterjee. Your words have been both thought-provoking and moving. They've also been a source of inspiration, I'm sure, to all of us who heard them today. It is now time for the special awards at the Young India Fellowship. I request our chief guest, Ms. Mirai Chatterjee, to give out the certificates to the awardees. No. The YIF Scholar Award is given to the fellow with the highest academic standing in the class and a demonstrated commitment to learning. With a CGPA of 3.93 out of 4, this year the award goes to Sonakshi Grover. It is worth mentioning that this is the highest CGPA ever attained by a fellow, and we congratulate Sonakshi.
Hi everyone. Thank you so much to the YF leadership, the mentors, faculty, and the Ashoka ecosystem for this fulfilling year, and to Karan and Aniha for giving me these few minutes to share my humble thoughts with all of you. The YF application had a question: what matters to you most in the world and why? And my answer started like this: stories are what matters the most to me in the world. And with my first class with Professor Satyendra in the YF, I was introduced to Adichi's warning of the danger of a single story. Over the last 10 months, I have recognized that the academic world often defines morality in single stories. Simone de Beauvoir's theory of housework yields little recognition for a woman who considers cooking with love as her resistance. The Indian judiciary's definition of cruel behavior barely allows space for a married woman's want for space in her matrimonial home. How do we respond to the seemingly harmless singularities around us? How do we breathe with an intersectional lens? I posit very humbly that it is, among other things, by actively practicing the ethic of love. I had naively reached a stage earlier this year when I felt that everything in my domain of research interest had already been said. There was nothing more that I could contribute, and I was at a dead end. But the stagnant needle moved. It moved when I had goosebumps in a classroom over my peers' passionate appeal for caste-inclusive education. It moved when I was unable to authentically defend my own favorite feminist novel. This thinking needle moved due to stories that pulled down the guards of my heart. The YIF has taught me that plural scholarship is rooted in the heart, in feeling intensely as much as thinking rationally. I hope to become a scholar one day who says something that hasn't been said, but that is worth saying. And if that happens someday, it would be in a remarkable way because of the community of YIFs and mentors who've entrusted their stories to me and opened their hearts to me. I have realized in this last year that a community makes a scholar. We make each other sensitive researchers, entrepreneurs, and most importantly, well-rounded individuals. Our love for each other has the power to uproot singular stories and help us outgrow singular personhoods. Our stories have a role to play, but the future of our world hinges on the love with which they are written and shared. The love that we practice for each other, and that's probably what matters the most. So thank you so much for listening.
Thank you, Sonakshi. The Torchbearer and Spirit of YIF are two very different awards given out each year. In both cases, fellows are nominated by their classmates. These nominations are not votes, and the strength of the arguments given in favor of the candidates carries more weight than simply the number of nominations accrued. The Spirit of YIF is given to the fellows who have gone beyond the call of duty to contribute to different aspects of life at YIF. This is often through their creativity, energy, and unrelenting pursuit to improve the experience of all involved in the program. The first award for the Spirit of YIF class of 2023 goes to Anil Baharia. Quoting from some of the nominations received for Anil, I read, Anil has not merely engaged theoretically with the ideas and ideologies that he stood for, but also challenged and acted upon change in the immediate space of the classroom as well. This process of unlearning, relearning, and the anxieties, frustrations, and resistances that come with them have enriched us as a community and have in many ways filled the gaps in our own humanities. Anil has made sure he befriends people who would normally stay quiet, not as a tokenistic gesture, but because of an authenticity he can't hide. He lives and breathes and speaks and embodies his academic pursuits. Many congratulations to Anil.
Good evening, everyone. It's, I think, a matter of 2 minutes and I would be gone from here, so bear with me. This is not a speech but a reflection note, and it is titled as Apart, Apart. It is borrowed from Ambedkar's statement where he said, and I quote, "I am not a part of the whole, I am a part apart." Now, it was by an accident that I came to this fellowship, but I'm grateful to be here. I genuinely am. It has been a beautiful yet tragic experience. First, I will talk about the tragic part. I agree that the fellowship has the diversity of minds, in terms of the fellow's previous academic achievements, but it would be a fallacy to confine the idea of diversity of minds merely to their academic pursuits and geographical location, because it creates scenarios where a student like me is awarded for the way they have sparked conversations. I believe that is something anyone can produce. It's a mediocre thing, I think. The reason why these words and actions seem extraordinary to us is because our understanding of the diversity of minds is limited. In terms of caste representation in our cohort, we have merely 3 individuals belonging to the erstwhile untouchable communities, and all 3 are men. That is some other food for thought for us. While rest of the all 96 fellows belong to the touchable caste, regardless of their religions. In a situation like this, such conversations, like anyone who produces such conversation, are obviously going to be perceived as enlightening. We must establish that caste is a state of mind, and therefore we must have diverse states of mind. Thus, from a utilitarian learning approach of our university, we don't even have to look at it in terms of fair representation and social justice and all those big words. From a utilitarian learning approach of our university, we should take immediate strategic actions to eradicate this malady of one-dimensional thinking. Now, coming to the beautiful part of my experience at this university, and it was indeed beautiful, I saw coming here as an opportunity for fieldwork where I would get to see how the oppressor communities conduct themselves in everyday life. Gone are the days when villages were the best means to study how the oppressed lived in feudal casteist society. Now one can come to these modern day agraharas like our university and see how the oppressor maintained this intellectual hegemony. Therefore, I am grateful to this space for these learnings and experiences. I indeed am. Given that I would be staying here at this university for one more year, I am excited to again gain new experiences in learning, as I mentioned above. I am also excited to work under the supervision of Honorable Chancellor Rudrangshu Mukherjee. I am also ready to work with anyone, and I mean that. I am also excited and ready to work with anyone to turn this criticism into a constructive one, to annihilate this malady of one-dimensional thinking. I thank all my friends who stood for me during the entire fellowship. Let us all hope for the day when we when we unlearn the generational art of oppression which we have mastered. Let's hope for the day when nobody has to experience this gaze of being the odd one out in the classrooms, or as I call them, caste rooms. Let's hope for a university where individual inclusion and social exclusion cease to be the order of the day. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Anil. The second fellow to win the Spirit of YIF Award is Dharani Dhavamani. Citing her peers, Dharani has been extremely committed to all facets of YIF, from academics to extracurriculars, participating wholeheartedly in each endeavor. She has fulfilled her role as an academic committee member, balancing the cohort's needs with administrative constraints. She has shown outstanding leadership abilities during the Friends of YIF production, going out of her way to ensure that every element was planned and executed perfectly. Dharani possesses a remarkable ability to bring people together, fostering an inclusive environment where diverse voices are heard and valued. Congratulations.
Hello everyone. I hope we've managed to brush off all of the rain. But this honor coming from my dear fellows as the Spirit of YF is priceless to me. A big heartfelt thank you to you all, because this is so humbling and yet quite emboldening. This year, we have seen how the fellowship grows with us, wins with us, fails with us, learns with us, and evolves with us. And who is us? Us, basically, is this crazy mix of world-renowned experts and dreamy, clueless amateurs rule breakers and path makers, establishers and experimenters, industry veterans, and professionals whose professions honestly don't even have names. 19-year-old people and 90-year-old people. We have seen what happens when everything goes right and what can be done when everything goes wrong. This level of diversity, talents, and potentials coming together, it must mean something. We must have a purpose. Every single person in this room is a part of the Young India Fellowship, and each of us embodies within us a past that makes us who we are and a future that we strive for. We are significant, we are impactful, and we are all damn strong. And what can be stronger than a bunch of people who know how to get things done? Well, it's a bunch of people who want to get things done. And better still, it's a bunch of people who have started to get things done. And in many ways, we've already begun. But in actuality, we have so much left to do. And I think that is what the award signifies, that it's our responsibility and our privilege to bear. Beginning with the YIF and diving into the Friends of YIF and finishing with the spirit of YIF, it's been a blast. Thank you for making me a part of your journey. And I'd also like to thank my phenomenal parents and my wonderful siblings, because they've basically attended the entirety of the fellowship with me in spirit. All of you have shown me who I was, who I am, and who I can be. May this fellowship never end, and may our spirits never fade. Thank you.
Thank you, Dharani. The final significant individual award is for the torchbearer of the YIF. This award is given to the fellow who best embodies the spirit and ideals of the Young India Fellowship. Along with high academic achievements, they also display exceptional extracurricular abilities and concern for those around them. The torchbearer of the Young India Fellowship class of 2023 is Adya Vatsa. To cite directly from her many nominations, Adya has consistently demonstrated a wholehearted commitment to every aspect of the YIF experience. From academics to the alumni and residence program and crossover sessions, her commitment has been very inspiring. Adya has constantly been available to every member of the cohort and has facilitated connections, cutting across the usual patterns of groupings that happen by default. She brings a certain energy to the room, one of positivity, unrelenting enthusiasm, and the will to accomplish whatever is asked. It requires a lot of courage to be radically kind, and it can be argued that it is one of the most potent ways to bring positive change in the world. Formally recognizing her through the Torchbearer Award, it would inspire each and everyone in the cohort to also follow her lead and embody the same values as much as possible. Congratulations, Adya.
I will be sharing some thoughts and reflections with you, but I will be speaking in English. So, just be kind enough to check with your neighbor if there is any translation that is needed. Young India Fellows of 2023, and my favorite set of human beings. Thank you to all those who nominated me as the torchbearer. I feel blessed and humbled to be accepting this award. An award or title only means something when it's in relation to others, which is why I will spend the next minute in expressing gratitude to everyone who has been in relation to my experience at the Young India Fellowship. First, our professors. I don't even know what to say. I bet we would do anything to sit in some of your classes all over again. Such has been the experience that has made us reimagine juxtaposing our knowledge of technology with literature and art with gender studies. I also want to express my thankfulness to the entire YIF program team who work relentlessly to make sure that we have a unique educational experience, I have immense respect for the work that you do. I also want to thank everyone who contributes in building Ashoka. Thank you for giving us the gift of a good education. A special thank you to the entire support staff. You have ensured that we have warm food, clean classrooms, and a tidy bed to sleep in every day. Everything that has enabled us to focus solely on our learning. And of course, I want to thank my family members and the support that they have given me. Thank you for the life that you have provided and for trusting me with the decisions that I make for myself. The last and the most important is to the fellows. I want to express my deep gratitude to the 98 other fellows. You have been the most flourishing environment that has brought forward my most authentic self. Thank you for sharing perspectives that challenge the norms around us. So I spent a lot of time thinking what this year has meant to me and who we are collectively. And for that, I just want to quote Professor Ranjan Banerjee, who taught us design thinking. And he said that he loves coming back to teach Young India Fellows because we always choose problems that matter. And after a lot of a thought, I thought who we are, and I believe that we are the people who are not scared of choosing the most difficult problems to work with. We are the people who want to challenge ourselves amidst a lot of uncertainty, which is why we are sitting in this room today. I also believe we are each other's biggest cheerleaders, and we will give one another unconditional support, mostly in our successes, but more importantly, in our failures. I want to end with saying, no matter where we go, we will continue to ask questions. Questions that nobody asks, and questions that are most difficult to bring up in a room full of people. Thank you for seeing one another in ways that we had never imagined before. And congratulations, class of 2023.
Thank you, Adya. It is now time for the team awards. The awards for outstanding performance in the experiential learning module go to 2 teams this year. In this category, nominations are sought from the teams themselves and supported by their clients. I request them to come up as I call out their names in no particular order. The first team to win the Outstanding ELM Award is Team 4, which worked with the Center for Studies in Gender and Sexuality, CSGS. The team consists of Alia Fatima Sharif, Kuhu Tiwari, Nishita Singh, Shreya Kaul, and Sonakshi Grover. The team worked on analyzing significant judgments that have challenged mainstream norms on sexual justice over the past 5 decades. In the process, they successfully delivered an annotated bibliography of 100 judgments and a judgment repository of all the reviewed cases. They also launched the Sexual Justice Project on Spotify, a limited podcast series on Indian sexual jurisprudence since the 1970s. In their clients' words, a team without any formal training in law has made this year's project by CSGS such a huge success by pooling their interdisciplinary strengths, engaging in critical thought, and consciously making an extra effort to learn and unlearn throughout. This research-based project has become one of the most accessible resources made available by the Center to anyone interested in engaging with the themes of law, gender, and sexuality. The second team to win this award is team number 5, who worked with the Paint It Red Foundation. I would like to congratulate the members, Advitya Sinha, Meera Amit Trivedi, Prableen Singh, Shahana Abbas Khan, and Sona Solji. The team has successfully delivered a curriculum handbook for educators working with visually impaired menstruators. This handbook pioneers a focus on menstrual health education being accessible to people with visual disability across India. In the process of creating this module, the team tackled some of the key gaps in reproductive health and nutrition with a focus on menstruation. In addition to the module, the team also created a rich repository of schools and NGOs that the client can further reach out to. In their clients' words, the module created through the ELM process is among India's first visually impaired-centric content and teaching methodology for menstrual education. The jingles, the tactile methods, and the overall language created for the module will be useful in teaching visually impaired menstruators across the world. This resource will serve as a guide for anyone to teach the visually impaired about body literacy. Thank you, Ms. Chatterjee, for handing out the awards. While the formal awards are at an end, we would also like to make a special mention of 2 other teams for their exceptional work in the ELM. First, we recognize ELM Team 1, which worked with module innovations and includes Arijit Singh, Dharani Dhavamani, Saroj Muthukumaran, Stuti Eliyur Ravi Kumar, and Yashwant Kumar Rayapati. The team worked on developing a strategy for the deployment of Module Innovations UTI test kit for the B2C segment in India, the US, and the EU in order to increase access and affordability amongst consumers. They exceeded the expectations of their clients with the depth of their primary research data, the number of respondents, and the fine details that emerged on how the test kits can be placed well in geographies that can adapt to Indian regulations. Finally, we would like to recognize the efforts by ELM Team 13 working with Pratham Education Foundation. The team includes Ronak Saraswat, Ritoban Das, Soumya Sharma, Siddhima Sirohi, and Tejaswini S. The team's scope of work was vast and varied, from designing learning materials to writing advertisement scripts for Pratham's YouthNet program PRA tool. The tool is used to evaluate the reading comprehension competencies of students who work across various sectors like food and beverage, beauty, hospitality, healthcare, electricals, and automobiles. During their immersive weeks, the team interviewed around 150 students in the pre-pilot and post-pilot phases across various regions of Bihar, Maharashtra, Uttar Pradesh, and Rajasthan. I congratulate all the winners and those who received a special mention in this category. Even though only a few individuals and teams have won awards today, many, many fellows have contributed to the spirit and ideals of the fellowship throughout the year. And we wish them all well in the journey ahead. And I know I also speak for the YIF program team. We will miss your presence on campus. In conclusion, and in keeping with the tradition of previous years, the fellows have made a film that looks back at the significance of the YIF for them. I present the final film by the class of 2023.
Okay. Okay, ready, set, go. Oh my God, someone's going to run it. Pranjal, that was a quick thinking, Pranjal. Sonakshi, how was it? It was really fun. So fun. I love it. I loved it. It was really
Alia last year would not have imagined herself living the life I am living now. I've always dreamed of it. I have traveled, I have learned, I have experimented. I've actually sit in on classes, just randomly happening UG classes, thinking I'm in the Three Idiots and I'm Amir Khan.
It felt like I'm back in high school. I didn't feel this way for a long, long time.
So all my life, I've interacted with very similar kind of people. But coming here, I got to interact with people from all over the country, to celebrating different festivals together like Bihu or Holi, to eating different kinds of food, to just celebrating different cultures.
There were times when I never realized that I can come up with great ideas. So I was able to realize my own potential through group projects. When people push you a little bit, you get to know that you can also come up with things that you never thought of.
Friends of YIF for me was the height of chaos and creativity, because people of different types of ideas and challenges, fights and disagreements and agreements, to like ring it all and stitch it together into like this tapestry of craziness and intensity.
Oh my God! ऐसे कैमरा लेके खड़े हो जाएंगे ना तो मैं डर जाती हूँ. Wait, how will I start?
So we were at the Aries Observatory, and next to the telescope there was this raised platform. And at night, all of us, like I think 35 to 40 of us, had just gone and lay down on that platform looking at innumerable stars. At that moment, I just felt so connected with the rest of the fellows. I think it was one of the most memorable experiences in my life.
मैं तेनू फिर मिलांगी किथे सोनीपत दे रंगीले आसमाना थल्ले गरम लू चलदी हवावा वांगू तेरे नाल तुरांगी क्लासां च लगे शांत सीसीटीवीज़ वांगू मैस दी चमकदी प्लेटा विचों तेनू तकदी रवांगी हुण जदों भी नज़र पएगी फॉरेन पॉलिसी दियां खबरां ते ऑफिस दे अपने रैंडी ते दीवार ते लगी पेंटिंग ते या शेक्सपीयर दे मसालेदार लेखां ते मैं तेनू याद आवांगी मैं तेनू फिर मिलांगी.
Do it again one more time.
3, 2, 1.
சிறு சிறு விதைகளாய் ஊன்றி வெவ்வேறு இடங்களில் தோன்றி வேர்களால் பூமியை பிளந்து வேறுபாடுகள் பலவும் கலைந்து நாங்கள் ஒன்றானோம். பலமொழி பேசினோம், கனவுகள் கண்டோம், ஆசைகள் கொண்டோம், படாத பாடுபட்டோம், களைத்தோம், அழுதோம், முயன்றோம், சிந்தித்தோம், சிந்தித்து சாதித்தோம், சாதித்து சிரித்தோம். ஒரு மரத்துப் பறவைகளாய் உங்கள் முன்னிற்கும் நாங்கள் இன்று பறந்து செல்கிறோம்.
I would give you all a moment to soak it all in. I know this video has very heartwarming moments, right? Which you all are going to cherish for the years to come. Anyway, moving on, I would like to now invite Venkat, Pro Vice Chancellor for Development, Placement and Alumni Relations, to deliver the vote of thanks.
I promise not to take time. I've just come to thank everyone over here. Dear Mirai Chatterjee, a big thank you
for making time to be present at the convocation of the Young India Fellowship Class of 2023. It is an absolute honor to be in your midst as one of India's finest leaders in the social sector. Your impact on millions of working women over 3 decades has been deeply felt by all. Your contribution to the country has been immense, and your presence and address today has certainly inspired our graduates to strive for excellence in their own chosen fields. Today is a big moment for the graduating fellows. Congratulations to each and every one of you. Well done and richly deserved. Look around you, soak in the environment, capture the moments, and take a ton of selfies. Make sure you create memories for a lifetime as you embark on your next adventure. You're entering a world that's brimming with exciting opportunities and ideas. Do what you love, and don't stop until you get what you wish to pursue. Go forth, make a dent, and attempt to change the world. That will be Ashoka's biggest reward. May success follow all your way. To all parents, friends, and family members in the audience and in spirit, thank you for your presence and making the day memorable. We hope what you have learned of your children's experiences have reinforced your convictions in the university. A big thank you to all faculty who have taught and inspired the fellows, mentors who have guided them, ELM clients, and other guests who enriched their lives at the YIF. Their journeys would not have been possible without your presence and contribution. A big thank you. The university is thankful for the cooperation extended by the Registrar's Office, starting with admissions all the way to convocation and beyond. The efforts of the admissions and outreach team for bringing in diverse students year after year is critical to YIF's success. We also thank the development and financial aid offices for the commitment to make education accessible to all our students. A thank you to our parents and alumni office, the PR and communications team for carrying the message and mission of Ashoka across the world. We are grateful to the Office of Global Education, Summer and Strategic Programs for giving our students international exposure through institutional partnerships and exchange programs over the years. We are grateful to the Office of Academic Affairs for administrating the MLS programs to our fellows. The Career Development Office deserves a heartfelt appreciation for helping our fellows take important steps towards their professional goals. Thank you to all the IT staff for their efforts in ensuring that students are able to pursue their academics with ease. A special thank you to the Centers of Excellence at Ashoka, particularly the Center for Entrepreneurship and the Center for Wellbeing for collaborating with the YIF and giving fellows an opportunity to access cross-listed courses as part of their new course curriculum. The university once again would like to extend its gratitude to the Office of Learning Support for all its effort. This is a moment to appreciate the contributions of the Student Affairs team, who are a critical part of every student's life at the university, be it in their extracurricular activities or their residential experience. We are also thankful for the offices of the Pro-Vice Chancellor and Strategic Initiatives, the HR teams and finance teams for everything that they do. Ashok, we are grateful to the operations team, which includes the infirmary, housekeeping, maintenance, dining, security, transport, laundry, and the horticulture departments for ensuring a hassle-free, safe campus experience for all our students. I would like to specifically acknowledge the entire support staff at Ashoka, who in practical ways behind the scenes have been incredibly helpful to the fellows. To each and every one of you, a big thank you. We would also like to thank the IIT staff and warden for working closely with the fellows. To foster a unique residential experience. Our heartfelt appreciation to the teams that have worked together to put together today's convocation. The logistics of executing this amidst this rain must have kept you up. Well done, thank you. To the graduating fellows, stay connected with Ashoka. You have only completed the first year of your lifelong journey as Young India Fellows. Come back and support the university that has nurtured you. Mentor and assist future batches of students. They all need your experience and wisdom, and the Alumni Office will work closely with you in this regard. My sincere thanks to Chancellor Mukherjee, Vice Chancellor Roy Chaudhary for their inspiring leadership. You stimulate all of us to give our best. Thanks to all the deans, senior administrators, and our esteemed guests for making this day successful. We are grateful to our Board of Trustees, founders, and donors. Thank you for being our rock. Your support and encouragement means more than you'll ever know. Finally, 2 more paragraphs. Finally, a big round of applause to Dean Aniha Brar. And to this bearded chap called Karan Bhola. Who completes 1 full year as the director of the YIF. A bigger round of applause to the members of the YIF program team. For having steered the program through the year. You played a critical role in all aspects, and we are truly grateful for your sustained efforts. I'm certain that you will continue to raise the bar higher and make the YIF more aspirational in the years to come. Thank you. I now invite Vice Chancellor Shomok Roy Chaudhary to hand a small token of gratitude to our chief guest, Mirai Chatterjee.
Thank you, Pro Vice Chancellor. I now request everyone to please stand for the national anthem.
जन गण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड़ उत्कल बंग विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्छल जलधि तरंग तब शुभ नामे जागे तब शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तब जय गाथा जन गण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे
I request everyone to please be seated till the academic procession departs the hall. For the fellows, there are photo booths which have been installed in the billiards room. Please head out there to get the pictures clicked with your friends and family members and get the pictures instantly. Thank you. And regarding the other audience members,